Hi guys! 안녕하세요. If you are a foreigner who is now living in South Korea, you might want to watch this video. This video is actually the crime prevention video from the Seoul Metropolitan Police station. This is to actually ensure the safety of all foreigners and the South Korea citizens. So I hope you will learn from this video and enjoy watching.
Hi everyone, I'm an officer Tae Sung Park from Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency. I'm here to provide crime prevention education. I'm going to explain the types of crimes, cases and damages, and how we can address the crimes and prevent them from happening to you. This lecture consists of 10 categories, so let's begin. Chapter 1, Fraud. Voice phishing is a financial scam via communication devices such as telephones, mobile phone, internet to obtain your money. The voice phishers trick you into revealing your personal and banking information to withdraw money from your bank account or transferring your money to them. So when you get those unknown calls, please suspect them first. Let's take a look at the cases of voice phishing. The criminals manipulate the phone number so that the actual embassy phone number can be displayed on your phone. When they reach you, the criminals introduce themselves as the embassy workers and tell you that you are in some kind of crimes. Then they demand your personal information and money, as for solving the trouble you are involved with. Usually the victims become regretful after transferring their money to them. The second case is becoming a criminal because of illegal withdrawals. The voice phishing criminals use international students in order to withdraw the money sent by the victims. The criminals post an advertisement on the internet disguising as a company hiring for a part-timer with high pay to attract students. And of course, the job is to withdraw the money from ATMs. But still, the students do not know what kind of money they are taking out. They just do what the company asks them to do as a job. In some cases, the students involved in the illegal money withdrawals were arrested as accomplices by the police. If you get a voice phishing call, please hang up the phone and call the police immediately. Then the police will contact financial institutions to close your bank account temporarily. Under no circumstances will embassies, financial institutions, and any government departments require your personal banking information, such as PIN number, password, and ask for money. Now let me tell you how to prevent from getting voice phishing. When you get a call from an unfamiliar number, do not answer. If it's important, they will call you again or leave text messages. Online shopping scams usually happen at a shopping website such as 중고나라, where scammers pretend to have the product to sell with a fake advertisement and then swindle payment from unsuspecting shoppers. Let's see how the online shopping scam works. A shopper finds a good at a very low price and then contacts the seller. The seller asks the shopper to make the payments first as soon as possible because there are other people who want the product as well. So the unsuspecting shopper sends the money to the seller and waits for days, but product is never arrived. The money is gone. How can we protect ourselves from the online shopping scams? First, always suspect unbelievably low prices. Meet the seller face to face to trade, and then make a payment after receiving the product, especially when you are buying through used goods shopping malls. Third, when you pay through account transfer, please visit cyberbureau.go.kr or thecheat.co.kr to check if the seller is listed as a scam. Bank account fraud means a bank account illegally used by others, not by the actual account holder. In South Korea, it is called 대포통장. And lending or sending your bank accounts to others for any reason is illegal. Therefore, if someone requires you to lend or sell your bank account, you must refuse. Here is an example of bank account fraud. An international student at a university in Korea saw an advertisement saying, if you lend me your bank account, I'll give you 200,000 won. Unfortunately, the student ended up trading his bank account for 200,000 won. Few days later on, the student got arrested for violating the financial transactions. Again, bank account trading is illegal, and the penalty level is high. You can become an offender if you trade your bank account with others for some money. Chapter 2: Sex Crime. Sex crimes involve all the sexual acts committed without consent by one party, usually with force. All the physical, psychological, verbal, social violence of sexual nature enacted against other parties' intention is sex crime, which infringing one's self-discretion. Sex crimes include rape, sexual assault, sexual harassment, sexual battery, sexual abuse, child molestation, child pornography, and internet sex crimes. In most cases, sexual crimes are committed by acquaintances such as colleagues, family members, relatives, teachers, friends, and so on. And this is one of the main reasons which make it difficult for victims to report to the police or to tell someone close to them. Furthermore, they tend to think that it's all their fault. But please remember, whatever happens by force without your consent is never your fault. You did not do anything wrong. Facing a sexual crime, the victims become panic. And this is why we should be mindful of how we cope with it. Now, let me share with you a good example of how to cope with sex crimes occurred at work. Lisa was sexually assaulted by her boss at work. Usually, at workplace, when a boss or someone in a higher position sexually assaults someone, the victim becomes reluctant to report because of the fear of being fired or getting disadvantages. At the beginning, Lisa also felt that it was her fault. However, Lisa thought she needed to take action to get things right for herself and prevent the same thing from happening again to others in the future. So, Lisa reported to the police and submitted video and audio files as evidence. In result, her boss, the offender, was arrested for the sexual assault. Unfortunately, Lisa left her company, but Ministry of Employment and Labor helped her to find a new job. A person like Lisa's boss could be your boss or colleagues at work, and teachers or friends at school. Whoever the offender is, you should contact the police and tell them what happened to you clearly. We are here to help you through. How to address when you get sexually assaulted. First, try your best to stay calm and look around to see if there is anyone who can help you out. Second, if you are unable to call the police, you can also use 112 emergency report application. Sex crimes must not be committed to anyone, but if it happens, please make sure to call the police immediately and let them know. Additionally, if you get sexually abused, try not to take a shower right away because the important evidence of the crime will be cleansed off. Do not wash your underwears either. The evidence will give us clearer information and reason to punish the offender firmly. Korean government provides psychological consultation with professionals, sheltered housing, public defender, legal support and medical expenses to the victims of sex crime. Please contact the police. They will definitely help and protect you. Recently, in Korea, dating abuse and stalking have become problematic issues. Dating abuse involves a person who uses a pattern of assertive and controlling behaviors to another to gain and maintain power and control in the relationship. Stalking is unwanted and repeated surveillance by a person or a group toward another person. Usually, a stalker harms the victim mentally and even physically by following and monitoring. Dating abuse between two people is not love, it is a crime. Abuse or violence in any circumstances must not be forgiven. If you are being abused by your partner, contact the police immediately. If you are not wanting to report to the police, we recommend you call 1366 Women's Help Hotline for help. And please make sure to take pictures of the abused parts of your body and then go see a doctor and get a medical certificate. If your partner habitually abuses you, you should record the conversations occurred during the violence and capture any text messages between you and your partner. These are the things you can do to protect yourself. Chapter 3: Domestic Violence. Domestic violence includes physical, verbal, and sexual abuses committed by a member of a family to others in the group. Depriving financial freedom, ignoring others' opinion, and forced offenders' opinions are also domestic abuse. In the past, the domestic violence was often considered as just a family issue, but in today's society, it is taken as a social problem, and the Korean society has been trying to reduce the crime damages. If you are being abused by your family member, you should leave the place of the violence first, because domestic abuse tends to be committed constantly. And then you should contact the police, take pictures of abused parts of your body, and see a doctor to get a medical certificate. You should try to get out of the abuse with the help from the police and the government. Domestic violence is a crime. For the domestic abuse, you can request the police of taking emergency action, such as compulsory eviction, prohibit access within 100 meters. Furthermore, the police can help you with preventing the offender from contacting you via phone calls, text messages, and so on. If you want or need, sheltered housing will be provided. If you find that the abuse occurs consistently and is becoming more serious, you can always stay at the shelter safely. Where you are staying is confidential and protected. Chapter 4: Child Abuse. Child abuse is physical, psychological, verbal, and sexual violence committed upon children by adults. Negligence is also child abuse. Beating your children and forcing them to do sexual acts are child abuse. Leaving your children alone, not providing them food, and not giving them proper medical treatment when needed. These are all considered as child abuse. Chapter 5, Gambling. Do you enjoy gambling with your friends sometimes? But you should be aware that if you do a betting gamble with friends frequently, it could become a crime. There are many types of gambling in the world. Ghost up in Korea, Mahjong in China, poker in the USA, and Lotto in Thailand. Not only that, but also providing a place for gambling is a crime, called opening of a gambling place, and it may be considered as a bigger crime than the gambling itself. Therefore, you should not offer your place for gambling to anyone. Chapter 6, Traffic Violence. Traffic accidents can happen to anyone. However, if you face a traffic accident in other country, you might become much more panic. In this case, please try cool off as much as you need and then get out of the car and check if there's anyone injured including yourself. If no one is hurt, call your insurance company and consult with them to follow the right steps. If the car is rented, you can call the car rental company. However, if someone is hurt by the accident, you must call the police and follow their instructions. An ambulance will be arrived as well. When driving in South Korea, you must have your driver's license with you every time you drive. You must not drive after drinking alcohol. You cannot drive any type of vehicles such as a car, a bike, or motorcycle after drinking. Not possessing the driver's license when driving is a crime as well. If you let a drunken person drive, it is also a crime called aiding and abetting DUI, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. If your friend or a colleague is to DUI, you should stop him or her, otherwise you will be accused of aiding and abetting DUI. Preventing traffic accidents from DUI is our responsibility. Let's talk about bike and motorcycle safety regulations. Firstly, safety hat must be worn. When you ride a bike on the sidewalk, be watchful for pedestrians. The pedestrians come first. On the crosswalk, you must get off the bike and walk with it. Motorcycles are prohibited on the sidewalks. The same as car DUI, riding a bike or a motorcycle after drinking is also considered as DUI. Unregistered vehicle is a car which isn't registered properly and legally. In South Korea, we call it 대포차. The owner of the car on the paper and the actual owner who possesses and drives are different. When unregistered vehicles gets into a traffic accident, it will be hard to recover any injuries and damages. Therefore, it is not allowed to drive unregistered vehicles. Stolen cars can become unregistered vehicles. When you buy a used car, please double check whether or not it was a stolen car. Driving a stolen car is definitely a crime. Do you follow the traffic regulations? Do you drive safe? Are you already know as drivers, neglecting signals, driving over the center line, speeding, sudden braking, crossing are against the safety regulation. When you drive, you must keep within safe distance, make a pass and U-turn, and change course in the designated zones. When you meet rampageous drivers on the road and feel attacked and intimidated by them, do not drive as the same towards them in revenge. Just call 112 and report them to the police. The police will analyze the black box and punish them accordingly. Chapter 7, Drug Crime. In South Korea, Possessing any type of drugs and taking drugs are banned. Now, remember that the possession of drugs itself, even if you are not to take them, is illegal. Check the types of drugs as below. You will be charged if you import and export drugs, sell or purchase drugs, possess seeds or house cultivation, provide a place to others for taking drugs. Chapter 8 Part-time work of international students. In Korea, international students are allowed to work only part-timer after getting a work permit from the Korea Immigration Service. However, it is prohibited to work at places like karaoke hostesses, manufacturing industry, high-tech industry labs, and personal tutoring, even if it is a part-time job. If you are permitted to work by the Korea Immigration Service, you should work the duration of time set for the international students. Maximum 20 hours a week for undergraduate and language school students. Maximum 30 hours a week for postgraduates and PhDs. The work permit lasts for 1 year, but it can be renewed during the period of attendance at school, provided that 70% completion of the semester and average grade of B or above. If you are not an international student, the type of visa you obtained will decide whether you can work in Korea or not. Working holiday visa can work within the designated field. As I mentioned earlier, international students can work part-time in Korea. For others, please consult with the Korea Immigration Service as the type of visa you hold decides whether you can work in Korea or not. The most important thing is you must obtain a work permit from the Korea Immigration Service before you start working. You will be charged for illegal profit-making activities otherwise. Chapter 9 Waiver of Reporting Illegal Immigrants. Waiver of reporting illegal immigrants is for illegal immigrants as victims of crimes, which means the police will not notify the immigration office of the illegal immigrants who is subject to a police investigation as a victim of a crime. The illegal immigrants has fear of being deported, so they tend not to report their crime to the police despite all types of the damages from the crime. This notification exemption is to encourage the illegal immigrants as a victim of a crime to report to the police. Therefore, if you are illegally staying in Korea and in a difficult situation due to a crime happened to you, please feel free to contact the police. They will not notify the immigration agency about you. However, the waiver of reporting illegal immigrants does not applicable for all crimes. It is applicable for homicide, criminal injury assault, manslaughter, or injury by negligence, intimidation, abandonment, abuse confinement, kidnapping, larceny, rape, indecent assault, interference with the exercise of rights. Also, reporting exemption is not applicable if the illegal immigrant was charged for a crime in the past, is a victim of bilateral assault, is interviewed as a witness, being a victim of a crime in doubt, was already investigated for illegal staying. In these cases, you will be deported to your country. Now, please note that on illegal immigrants who reported to the police with the support of the illegal immigrants reporting exemption do not become legal citizens in Korea. Their status remains as the same and can be deported anytime as the immigration agency continues the enforcement of regulations. The police just does not report and transfer them to the immigration office. Chapter 10 Illegal Taxi. Illegal taxi business involves overcharging and unauthorized taxi using a rent cars. The Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency enforces an intensive crackdown on the offenders as to protect foreign visitors and residents. In South Korea, Vehicles registered for business purposes have yellow number plate, so do the taxis. If you catch a taxi with non-yellow number plate, please let it pass because it is an illegal vehicle. Lastly, you could be fined for not having your registration card or passport with you. So please make sure to bring them all the time.